the bottom, and it was only up from there. There was a lot of demons that were exercised today.
I thought we were in total control. That in overtime, obviously the penalties and the things, very, very, very frustrating. But it's you got to overcome those things.
Okay, so now that the exorcism happened, do you think Rodgers can still lead Green Bay to the playoffs?
Where's the giant slaying? That playmaker would always say.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why they've been so hard for me to quit this year. You get asked all the time, are they done? Are they done? Are they done? They finally looked yesterday like the team that I thought they would look. And it's because they didn't forget their roots in many ways. Like Matt LaFleur comes from this offensive scheme where it's like, let's put the quarterback under center and let's use motion and let's run the football and let's use that run to then marry it to our play action game to help everybody else play a little bit elevated football. And they haven't done it this year. And that's been the most frustrating part. And then they finally did it yesterday. Yesterday they had 415 yards of offense. 360 of it was attributed to either running the ball or play action pass. So can they get back into this playoff conversation? Yes, if. Yes, if they play to that style that they did yesterday and don't think that they can get into the shotgun world and cute football and throw it to this is who they have to be. And then and what have we said all offseason? They're going to ask Aaron to make like 2 or 3 great throws a game. And that's what he did in many ways to Christian Watson yesterday. And so if they're going to continue to play to that style and allow Aaron Jones to get his touches, then I sit here and go, yeah, they can. But they've got to do it in that very specific way. They're talented enough on defense. They've got a bunch of first and second rounders. That throw to Christian Watson was absolutely spectacular. They've got a bunch of first and second rounders. They, in many ways, played a different style than the Cowboys were expecting. So if they're willing to do that, then they've got the chance. But I don't want them to revert back to the dog trash that they've done for the first 8 or 9 weeks and think that's going to be winning football. That's the very specific style they got to play. If they do that, yeah. If they do that, yeah, but I'm not confident to right now say that they're committed to doing it.
Well, first of all, I'm not sold. I'm not going to, he's a bad man, and he just reminded us of that yesterday. Let's be very, very clear. He's that dude, and he finally had a receiver that was catching the pass. It was Christian Watson put on the show.
He
4 receptions, 140. That's exactly. 4 receptions, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. Was flat out balling, particularly in the second half. Give a lot of credit where credit is due as it comes to Green Bay. But here's my thing. Matt LaFleur messed it up. Why should I be sold on him? Aaron Rodgers screaming in his face because why don't you just run the damn ball? The fact of the matter is Matt LaFleur almost blew the damn game with some of the decisions that he's made. That's just me. I can't be sold. What I will say is this. The schedule ain't that damn hard. The only game that I see.
Give it to me.
I got to go back to it. But the only game that I truly see Green Bay losing definitively is on the road at Philadelphia in 2 weeks. They can beat Tennessee at home next week. They can beat Chicago on the road in 2 weeks. They got a bye week after that. The Los Angeles Rams, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, are no more. We just hold on to that title because they're done, okay? At Miami, surely. I look at Philadelphia on the road at Philadelphia, on the road at Miami. I see that as being 2 games.
Tough.
And then you got Minnesota. So, again, I think that Green Bay could lose 2 of those games. So I could see Green Bay going 9-8. I don't think that's going to get it done when I look at the rest of the NFC conference because I'm of the mindset, okay, we've got Philadelphia, Dallas, and the New York Giants in the East, okay? You got Minnesota in the North. In the South, you got Tampa, okay? So that's 5 teams right there. And then in the West, you got Seattle, San Francisco.
Right.
So I don't see Green Bay usurping any of those teams. That's where I'm at with it. And that's why I say I don't think it's going to be enough for them to overcome. I'm sorry. I think it's too little, too late. I hope I'm wrong because I want to see Aaron Rodgers in the damn postseason because he's still a superstar in my eyes. But that's it.
Tennessee, Philly, and Miami, they got to win 2 out of those 3.
They got to win 2 out of those.
If they win 2 out of those 3, then it becomes a conversation.
Then you're talking about 10-7. Go about 10-7, potentially 11-6. Potentially 11-6, but definitely 10-7. They win 2 of those games.
The only chance they have is to do it the way they did it yesterday, though.
That's right.
And even yesterday, they were down 14. Right.
Well, listen.
Even in that perfect.
That's the difference.
Let me know when I can get to Dallas.
That's a subject. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Were you good with them in OT going for it on 4th and 3?
No.
What did you want them to do?
I mean, listen. All I can tell you is this. I'm just looking at the Dallas Cowboys overall. and I'm like, you were up 28-14 and you were rolling. What were you thinking? I mean, how is it that you can't get first downs? How is it? I don't understand what the hell is going on. Really, I'm not thinking about that play because I don't recall specifically that. What I would tell you is I'm looking at them overall and I'm saying this defense was supposed to be able to do something. This defense was supposed, they gave you a 14-point lead now. I understand it's Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the football, but you got these brothers, the Dallas Cowboys defense, that the football universe has been raving about, and they couldn't hold them off.
If Stephen A. walking off yesterday, if I was the Cowboys, I'd be scared to death right now.
Because
Why?
My quarterback is not playing good football.
That's right.
That's the truth. Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush have basically played the same amount of games this year. Yes. Cooper Rush's QBR is almost 10 points higher. Same people, playing with the same cats. Him and CeeDee Lamb are not.
Well, I would tell you that Dak was a different dude after he threw those couple of interceptions than he was early on.
Yes, I mean, the lack of communication or the consistent communication between Dak and CeeDee Lamb, specifically when they're working in the middle of the field, has got to be concerning to me. And the most alarming part for, like, if you're Dallas is you were capable of winning the Super Bowl because of your defense. Right now, they're 30th. They're the third the worst defense when it comes to stopping the run. And the reason why that would be concerning to me is look ahead and who you're going to have to play in that conference to get there.
Well, let's look at that. I mean, everybody's not A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Jones. Philadelphia can hurt you like that.
The Giants?
Yeah.
Giants are 7-2.
Minnesota? They're going to run the football at Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas still hasn't fixed their run. Still.
Who are their other? They have 3 losses. They had 1 with Cooper.
Are you talking Dallas?
Yeah.
Dallas has lost, obviously, yesterday. Tampa Bay, week 1.
That's right.
And then Cooper Rush to Philadelphia.
Yes.
Right? And so, but I look at the style.
Those are real teams, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I look at the style of the football, and I'm going, who in the NFC is in a run-first football team that is going to be in the playoff conversation that you're going to have to beat? Maybe Tampa, but even Tampa Bay a little bit was a run into football. Seattle's going to run the football.
They ran it a lot yesterday.
Seattle's going to run the football. So if you're Dallas, you're sitting there going, wait, this dominant defense, and that's just the case last year, and they're still getting the pill run on them.
And I guess what you're saying is that, teams are going to run on Dallas because they don't want to deal with that pass rush.
That's part of it.
Micah Parsons had 0 pressures yesterday.
He played linebacker a lot yesterday.
First time in his career that hasn't happened. That has happened. So that's incredibly alarming. But what I would tell you is 3 and out 5 times yesterday. You're the Dallas Cowboys.
So who does that fall on, though?
Yeah.
Who does that fall on?
Dak.
I know, sometimes we're hesitant to talk about him.
Yeah.
He's a good player, but at some point, when does Dak Prescott outplay the great across the other side?
Well, what I said was this: at some point in time, we're going to have to. Not that he's weak, not that he can't play. But one could easily argue that when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott is the weak link. The fact of the matter is CeeDee Lamb balled yesterday, 150 yards receiving, okay?
He's got to get on the same page.
He's got to get on the same page. Yeah, but that's Dak's responsibility. You're the quarterback.
Partly,
Get him on the same page.
Yeah.
The fact that, Kellen Moore and all, I get all of that, but at the end of the day, you're the quarterback. You get that man on the same page as you, period. That's what you do. So I'm looking at a CeeDee Lamb. I'm looking at a Gallup. I'm looking at a Schultz. I'm looking at Tony Pollard, who rushed for over 100 yards yesterday, okay, in Ezekiel Elliott's absence, all right? I'm looking at a defense, even though yesterday is not a prime example, but throughout the season, we have been talking about them. What we have been lamenting is whether or not Dak Prescott can be that dude when it really, really counts, because we're still waiting after all of these years. You just brought up Cooper Rush.
Right.
All right, and how his QBR is 10 points higher in the same amount of games. That's an indictment when you're a star quarterback who's got paid $95 million over the last 2 years.
Playing with the same guys.
Well, they got to figure it out because they're in Minnesota on Sunday.
Dallas goes to Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for the playmaker. His MVP is Dallas Cowboys. His heart's going to be.
I think you got to be most concerned with their defense, candidly.
Of course, because that was
against the run. Against the run.
Chicago put 30 on them. Green Bay put 30 on them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's get to